Hi, I'm here to discuss the how I actually generate the test scenarios for the Salesforce test. When they ask me to do some things, like for example, if they've been asking to test the discounts with the renewals, so we can test the discount allocation on the Salesforce or the net ARR. We've been using this data query where we make the data query to the Zora and then what post query. And what happens is like we receive a URL for us to make a get request, and then every 5 seconds we make a get request to know whether the query has been completed or not. And as soon as the status of that query becomes completed in that get request, we take all the data, the response, and we return it back to the code base to process or to work on it. So we did some modifications, like we are making two data queries, one to fetch the net ARR and the other one is to fetch the discount allocation. And so this is how usually when they reach out asking me to generate the test scenarios, I usually do it on the staging because then it's easy to test, easy to access. I don't have to make changes into my code base to make the renewals happen. So the way I do it is I first things first, I create a GitLab account, say like something plus test record and then a password. I usually add just to make sure that I do something. And now my staging, I have an account now on the staging server, and just normal thing, that's it. I will go to my customer staging and assign it with my GitLab account, and then I'm logged in as a user, what I did right now. So test record, just random data, Berlin, maybe keys messed up. Okay, now I have it over here. I'm part of one group and now I'm here. But just to make sure that I'm doing things right, I don't have to do something. I usually do in the self service. Like if you happen to go to the customers dot, and then there we have the doc called self service flows URL, yes. And then I select the staging self managed premium. The reason I do this is because what happens is that when I create the data over here, I will get an account number and I will use that to, yeah, so that would be random data and then 1 2 3 accept 1, and then I buy new subscription. This is all happening on my test one Zora server. So as I get this one, I take this ID, the Zora account ID, go to my staging test one server, and then I check out that. And here I am, the test record. This is the user which we created. So I have this customer account test record. This is what I'm interested in. I click on my test record, and then this is what I do over here will be reflected in my customers dot staging. So since I cannot renew when I create a subscription over here, I cannot renew. That's why we usually end up creating on staging servers, Zora staging, and that will be reflected over here into my customer staging with a renew button. And when I click on the renew, I would be processing the information over here. That will also call the Salesforce, and it will end up creating an opportunity. If I do anything on the Zora, the Salesforce will not be called. So that's the reason we are not able to do a lot of things over here. So the test people who are the test folks who are testing all this on the Salesforce, unfortunately, do not have a staging GitLab account. So you need to use on the staging, you need to have at gitlab.com. And unfortunately, they don't have access to it. And that's the reason they're not able to create an account on the staging. And that's why we are providing them with these all information. So let me create a scenario where they had requested, let's just a second. So they've been asking, some of the scenarios were failing, and one of the scenarios is this one. Where we are doing the self-managed flat renewals, self-managed premium. So what we're going to do is like we simply create a self-managed premium account, and we with a discount, and all we're going to do is just simply do the renewal. So how do we do it? So we first create order for that test account, and we have to make sure the order date is the next last year, so October, 10 days ahead, because renewal is 15 days before expiration. So if today is 23rd October, I can say select 30th, and then I create subscription. This is important. Invoice the subscription separately, and the order date is of course the one which I selected in the previous, which is the last year, 30th October. Continue. Now, since I'm doing the discount on the self-managed, so I'm going to say select self-managed premium. Go here, self-managed premium 1 year. So the scenario what we are testing is flat renewal self-managed premium. So add a product. Now we're going to add discounts. So that's what they want to check, whether when we had a discounts added. And the discount is the premium discount self-managed, which is like almost 35%. So you add a product, yeah, 34.45%. So that's it. And then you review the order, and then you activate. This will create an order and also will do a callback. As you can see, the money to collect was 348, but because of the discount, it's 228. Now, if I happen to go here, I click on this, you see the subscription showed up over here. But before we do the renewal, one important step is to actually create an invoice for the previous subscription or the subscription what we actually created, because now if you notice, 228 is over here. If I do the renewal, flat renewal, it's 348 plus 228, which is 685.57. Instead of just being 348, I'm end up paying 685. So what we do is we go to the subscription, the first one which we create a bill run. And then we select the target date, the date which the subscription was created, which is the 30th October last year. Then we create a bill run. And then sometimes it takes some time to come the post, and then we click on the post. So that means what we're doing is like we're posting an invoice that they actually are paying for that. And now it's done. Now, if I happen to go here and click on the refresh, I will see the other value, which is the value they will end up paying now because they did not pay the previous one. And now I click on my this, and then this is the best part. So when I renew my subscription, when I go back to my subscription over here, which is here, I'll have another version, which is a new version which was created because of the renew. This is the renewed one. As you can see, the end date next year, and an opportunity. This is the opportunity what the Salesforce team is interested in. So the scenario what we tested is flat renewal, self-managed premium with discount, and we just simply renewed it without removing or adding any products, without updating the quantity and stuff like this. So basically this is how I have been doing it. So what I do is then I copy the first version into my code file. Oops. So I do like the version 1, then the version 2, and the opportunity. And the scenario what I tested is the flat renewal premium. This is how I have been doing it. Sometimes they want to add a product during renewal, remove a product, etc., etc. They have few scenarios, and mostly they are interested in the opportunity created at the last version, because that's when we renew it, and that's what happens from our customer staging.